incredible finish from Joe Sapone, 15:07, doing his side by side.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Well, thanks for asking.
Thank you so much for coming to do this video with me.
Of course, yeah, very excited.
So do you have anything you can want to say before I start asking some questions?
No, let's just get straight into it.
Okay. First off, where did it start, like what inspired you to start running?
So, when I was a little kid, and I guess still now, my dad, pardon me, my dad travels a lot for work.
Mm-hmm.
And when he would come home on the weekends, on Saturday and Sunday mornings, he'd always get up and go run. And I just wanted to spend more time with him and be like him. So, I went on a couple runs with him. And then I realized that I really started to like it. And at my elementary school, I went to Trinity. I don't know if you're
Mm-hmm.
familiar with
Yeah.
it. They have a running club, and we used to do like a timed mile. And I remember getting out there and just going for it in the timed mile. And that made me realize that I liked competing for a time. So that's really what sparked my love for running, those two things.
So were you always like naturally gifted, I guess? Like as soon as you started running, you were like better than the average person who started running, or did it take time to build into where you are today?
It's a good question. I don't know. I don't think that I was naturally gifted. I worked really hard at running.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that endurance running, distance running is one of those things that you don't have to be naturally gifted to be considered good. If you just work hard and really want to be fast, then you absolutely can. So I would say no, but I don't know.
Well, that's interesting. But speaking of working hard, how have you been training lately? And like how have you trained over time?
Okay, so in middle school, I'll start there because I ran cross country in
Yeah.
middle school. So I just did whatever the coach told me to do during cross country season in sixth grade. Didn't Went on a couple runs on my own on the weekends. In seventh grade, that's my dog, sorry. In
Uh,
seventh grade, it was kind of the same, but I started to go on longer runs by myself, longer for middle school, so 4 to
yeah.
6 miles, just because I wanted to get out and run. And I liked it. I just really enjoyed running. So I would just go out and do it. And then in eighth grade, the summer going into that, I really started to focus more on it. And I'd go out, and I didn't have a coach telling me what to
Mhm.
do. I just would go out and run. And then once I got to high school, my school has a great coach, Coach J. Raj. And the summer going into my freshman year, he started giving me like mileage to do, workouts, things like that. But my mileage has just slowly progressed every year. And then same with workouts. I do similar workouts as I did freshman year, just a little bit faster, a little bit more volume. So my training hasn't changed that much over time. It's just developed to
Yeah.
where it is now. Currently, my training for track is 40 to 50 miles a week. But if I have a race, it can come down, and it's pretty flexible. It's just a kind of a comfortable place that I can handle the volume of. And I know some people, some of my peers, they do higher mileage and maybe less speed focused workouts. And then I know
Mhm.
other kids who do significantly less mileage with more speed work. So you just have to kind of find that happy spot for yourself. And I think that's another great thing about distance running is that everyone is different when it comes to it, and people respond to different training. And that's really interesting to me.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see. I know a lot of people, like my older brother, for instance, he would do like sprints and that would just work so well for him. While I had to like really build endurance. But with your other training, do you do any like strength training or dieting or anything like that?
During cross country season, our team does core. So like twice a week we would do that. And I never really took it seriously
Hmm.
freshman, sophomore year because I hated it and I thought it
Yeah.
was the worst. And then I started focusing more on it junior year because I was like, this is probably important. And then then going into the spring, I kind of focused on it more. Nothing really crazy, just basic core work and then some drills, but nothing super, super specific or
Hmm.
tailored to me. And as far as dieting, no, I
No.
run a lot. I work hard, so I don't really try to eat a certain way. Like I eat relatively healthy, but I don't, if I want to eat something, I eat it. There's nothing holding me back.
Yeah. Okay. Have you always been a runner? Have you tried other sports?
So I've done a lot of other sports actually. I've played soccer when I was younger. I feel like most people do that.
Yeah.
And I played tackle football for 3 seasons. I was terrible. I was terrified of getting hit. I played basketball. I love basketball. It was so fun, but I'm terrible at it.
Uh,
And then I played lacrosse from like age 5 or 6 up until my junior year. So up until last track season. And the only reason I stopped, well, I would do track and lacrosse at the same time, but the only reason I stopped, well, I guess not the only reason. Two things made me stop. One is I wanted to put all my marbles into running to see what I could really do and accomplish in the sport. And so I decided that I was going to quit. And then right before I quit, I was talking right before the game that was going to be my last game. I was talking to one of my captains before the game and I was telling him, hey, look, you know what this running thing means to me. You know that I have a future in it. And I think this is going to be my last game. And then I ended up injuring myself that game. I strained my
uh,
quad. So that was a sign to me that it was time to hang up the cleats. So now it's just all running. But up until last spring, I did 2 sports and I loved it. I miss it a ton.
mm. Do you have any pre-race rituals that you have to do to get in a good mindset or anything?
Yes, I'm a little obsessive about it. I've actually tried
Hmm.
to reel it in a little bit,
Uh,
but it starts if I'm in Atlanta, I go to the same
mhm.
restaurant and I get the same dish. It's pasta with grilled chicken and 2 dinner rolls. And then this is really obsessive. When I'm driving from the restaurant to my house, I listen to the same songs. There's 3 songs I listen to. Then I get home, I usually eat it and I watch TV and I drink like a liquid IV or a Gatorade with dinner. And then before I go to bed, I I don't do this all the time, but a lot of times I like to put on my uniform, not like in bed, but like just before, just to be like, okay, visualize the race and everything. I don't do that all the time, but most of the time I do. And if I'm not tired, or if I'm tired, I'll go to bed whenever I feel tired. Like if it's like 9:15, I'm tired.
Hmm.
If I'm not, I have to be in bed by 9:45 and I listen to the same 2 songs before bed. And then I get to the race. Um, I have like lucky pants and a shirt, but if it's hot, I won't wear the pants. And the shirt's long sleeve, so if it's super hot, I won't wear either. I'll just bring them with me, or even sometimes not at all. I like to warm up behind my team. I
Hmm.
listen to the same music when I warm up. It's a lot of music based things
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, definitely have my rituals, and they're good to have, but when you got to a point where I was like so obsessed with him that it was like a
Hmm.
problem. So like I lost my lucky socks, which was like one of the best things ever for me because I realized that okay, I don't have to have those to perform as I would want to. So it's good to have like songs and maybe little things to do to get in the right mindset, but you don't want it to be one of those things where if you don't do them, it totally throws you off your game because then you're just reliant, like it's an intangible. You can't control that.
Hmm.
And oftentimes I forget to do some of the things. So I have things that I like to do, but I'm not hell-bent on doing them all the time.
Okay. So what has been your favorite race that you've ever raced in, I guess, before?
Oh, favorite race that I've ever raced in. That's a really hard question. My favorite race that I've ever raced in before. There's so many that come to mind. That is really hard. At my school, some of the guys that are on the cross country team,
Mhm.
Parker Miles and Ryan Kelly, we have this club. I'm a member of it as well. It's called Wheeling with the Bears. And we work with the Kyle Pease Foundation, and we run with wheelchair athletes and races.
Mm.
And I would say that some of my most favorite races have been running with wheelchair athletes. They're just always so fun to do.
Mhm.
And my team's always out there, like Ryan and Parker. So those are probably some of my favorite races to do. One of those, or if I had to choose like a track race, last year at state, my team's 4x4 relay, I was one of the legs, and it was the deciding race for us to win state. And we won. And it was awesome. It was electric. It was so fun.
Those sound very fun. What was it like winning Wingfoot twice in a row?
Well, the first year, I I was reading the race preview, and I saw that they put my name in there, and I was super
Mhm.
boosted. I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
they think that I'm in a position to win the race. And I was like, I should absolutely try to do that. Going into the race, though, I wasn't entirely sure because it was a really strong field.
Hmm.
So after about 2 or 3K, when the race was kind of like settled in and I was in that front pack, I had the realization that, okay, really be something that can happen. And then going in down that last stretch, Ben Rothering was in front of me the first year, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, if I don't try to get him, then I'm gonna be really mad at myself. So going up that last hill, I was just like, I just got to give it all I got, and I did, and it paid off. And then because I won it as a junior going into it senior year, I was like, well, now I have a target on my back and a chip on my shoulder. I would be awesome to do it again. I think I was the first person to do it twice, and then Ruby Little did it in the race right after me.
Yeah.
So going into that was my mindset, and then it was me and Max Harden and Tommy Latham, and
Yeah.
then it just came down to the shoot. And I love Max Harden. He's from Alabama, from Auburn,
Mhm.
Alabama. He got second. He's a really good dude, and we just both went to the well right there at the end, and I ended up winning.
It was a very fun race to watch. I was there and
Really?
very cool.
Did you
But
run?
no, I did not run at the middle school meet. But who did you like meeting better? I don't know if you met Craig Engels last year or meeting like the Drew Hunter and Reed Brown this year.
I did get to meet Craig Ingles last year, but I met him. So he was the starter
Mhm.
for all the
Yeah.
races. So Friday night and Saturday morning, I went on Saturday morning to watch
Hmm.
both years to watch my team run and my sister. And on my junior year, on Saturday morning, he was in the chute at the finish line, and I was standing
Yeah.
there, and I got to talk to him for a couple of minutes, and he was really cool. I didn't really get a chance to talk to the Tin Men guys, although
Yeah.
like I had like a brief interaction with them when I was going up to get my awards and stuff. But they were both cool. Like,
So speaking of Tin Man Elite, which one do you like better, Tin Man Elite or New Generation Track and Field?
I don't know. I don't. That's hard to say. I don't really. I know like a good amount about like the
Hmm.
whole the professional running world, and then like the different clubs and stuff, but I'm not like that tapped into it. So I don't know if I could say one way or the other if I like one more. Although Nugent has some really cool shirts, I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
And I see you got the Tin Man sweatshirt on,
Yeah,
so that's
me too.
pretty dope.
I have to go with Tin Man Elite personally. But
Yeah.
if you could be sponsored, or if you are going to be sponsored when you're older, who would you want to be sponsored by?
Like a shoe brand or just anybody?
I guess a shoe brand and then any brand.
Okay, so shoe brands. I love Nikes. I've ran in
Hmm.
Nikes almost the whole time I've been running. And actually, my first pair of running shoes was, I think, were Asics, but I love Nikes. And then I've tried some Adidas more recently. I tried to branch out
Yeah.
in case I ended up at a school that ran in Adidas or
Hmm.
something like that. So I guess it'd be a dream to be a Nike sponsored athlete.
Yeah.
That would be so cool, especially if you got to the level of like, I think his name's Seb Coe. He was a British mid D guy. I think it's Seb Coe, and he has like his own building at the Nike
Hmm.
headquarters. Like LeBrons and people like that get their own buildings at Nike, which would be so cool because the campus
Hmm.
is beautiful. The Nike headquarters, and then I don't know why I asked if it was just any brand, but
Yeah.
I don't know who I'd want to be sponsored by if it was any brand. Probably like a watch or a car brand. That would be cool.
Nice. What kind of watch do you use?
For running, I have
Yeah.
the Garmin 645 without music. I did this
Mm.
last time where I went to the store to buy my Garmin and I bought the one without music both times.
Uh,
Honestly, this one does way more than I ever look at for a watch.
mhm.
I did use it on, I don't swim a lot. It's so hard. I did
Yeah.
swim team 1 year, actually. I forgot to mention that. But
Uh,
swimming is just so hard. But I've used this to swim a couple times. It has so many features that I don't really know where to start even. And I've had this watch for like 2 years. But really, I just use it for running, treadmill runs, and walks.
nice.
So
Why did you choose to go to UNC?
that's a really good question. So I really, really like the coaches, and
Hmm.
they were really good people, and they were really most college teams were like this. They were really dialed in and focused on a big goal. And there was something about the North Carolina team that I just felt like I wanted to be a part of and work towards that goal with them. And then as far as running and my education is concerned, I felt as though it was the place where I could really see how good I could be at both. It just seemed like the best combination. So that's ultimately why I ended up there. And luckily enough, they're a Nike school.
Yeah. Who are you most excited to either race with or race against next year in college?
That's a hard question. I'm really excited to just get up there and train
Hmm.
with a college team, a bunch of guys who are working towards like the same goal as me. And don't get me wrong, like my team now is we're working towards things, but it's just different when you are at a school and in a place where it's your life pretty much, not
Yeah.
entirely, but a huge part of your life. So I would say just getting up there. I don't know if there's anybody specifically that I'm excited to race with or race against. I'm just excited to get up there and work with those guys and compete at the next level.
Cool. Okay. What are three non-running facts about you, like fun facts about you that most people don't know?
I feel like a lot of people know this, but I always say it when people ask me fun facts. I have a
Hmm.
twin sister.
Ah.
So that I love reading. I read a lot. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I read all kinds of stuff. I usually am reading 2 or 3 books at once, which I used to not be able to do, but
Mm.
now I can just because I got open one and read it for a
Yeah.
while, do like a phase and switch. And then third, I want to bowl a 300. I want to bowl a perfect game. I'm not good at bowling. I'm not, but I want to be good. It's such a random thing that I've really gotten into recently.
Mm.
Like really looking at professional bowlers and watching old tournaments and stuff. But I'm not good. I'm really not. but I wish that I was. So I want to bowl a 300. Those are probably my three facts.
Yeah, I'm not good at bowling whatsoever, but um, what are your goals going into this track season? And do you want to potentially run sub 4? Because you ran that 2:59 1200, which is right on pace.
Yeah. My goals this track season, honestly, for me, they're mostly qualitative. I just want to get the most out of track season that I can. Like my last season of high school track where just I get to enjoy it. I get to race against people that I'm friends with. And, especially like not at the state meets, like these races where I
Yeah.
get to race all classifications against my friends and go out with my team, like my classmates and my team, and go out to those races, just have fun with it and really get the most out of it that I can. That's really all I can ask for this season. And, if a fast time comes with that, awesome. It's always a bonus, but
Yeah.
just being out there to have fun racing and compete is really what I want to do.
Do you have any national meets on your agenda this track season?
That's a good question, especially with New Balance Indoor Nationals happening this weekend.
Yeah.
Probably if I qualify, if I run fast enough, and because a
Hmm.
lot of meets, I think like Brooks is invite and like Nike isn't, but I don't, I don't know if
Yeah.
I want to consider it. I don't know yet. I guess it just depends on where I'm at in April, May to just see if I got invited or if my times are there.
Hmm.
Can't say specifically that I'm leaning towards one or the other, but Brooks PR always looks really cool, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll qualify.
Well, I think you have a pretty good chance. But if you could meet one pro runner, who would you want to meet? If you ever live, not just now.
To ever live,
Yeah.
oh, that changes things
Hmm.
because Jesse Owens would be really
Yeah.
cool, especially everything that he accomplished, and yeah, that would be really cool. There was this guy, obviously Prefontaine's up there.
Yeah.
She's legendary. Jerry Lindgren. There's this guy.
Hmm.
He was a runner in like Freeze era, and he had like just absolutely crazy training. Like would do crazy volume and crazy hard workouts. And I would love to just pick his brain. There's a lot of what's his name? Bannister. First guy to
Mm.
break 4. That would be really cool. There's a lot of runners who have passed away that I would love to just pick their
Hmm.
brains about running because like training is different and the way people receive training is different and the way people approach races I've found out are different. Like there are guys
Yeah.
who go out there and just want to quantify races, think about it as I'm going to go out and I'm going to run this split through this and then there's other people who go out and they're just like, I just want to race and I want to run hard and I want to not be able to walk after this. So I'd love to
Hmm.
just pick different, racers and runners throughout time and kind of see how they approached it. Especially a runner like Jesse Owens who, got to race in Germany and win. Like how do you go into that? Like, how do you
Yeah.
go into your mental there and, figure out like I just gotta lock in on like right now.
Hmm.
It's so cool to me.
How do you feel about like the Norwegian style training with like the double thresholds and like lactic acid numbers and stuff like that?
I think it's really interesting. I love reading old training logs. That's
Hmm.
kind of one of the things about running, like that I nerd out about. Not like super nerd out about because I don't know that much. I haven't gone that deep into it. But it's interesting to see what people do and how they react to it. Like, I think that's cool. I think that it's a very interesting way to approach training.
Hmm.
It's just another one of those things to look at and be like, huh, it's
Yeah.
clearly working well for them. Why
Hmm.
aren't more people adapting it? Or is there another training style that you can interpolate that into and make it even better?
Do you wish to become a pro runner or do you want to just end college and then go into another profession?
I have no idea. I think if I was presented with the opportunity to be a pro runner, I would do it.
Hmm.
But it's not one of those things that I have like just really yearned for as a runner. It's one of those things that I think it would be really cool to do and experience being a pro athlete. It's
Hmm.
something that if you're in a position to, you might as well try.
Yeah. Um, if you could meet any living pro runner now, who would it be though?
I would love to talk to Craig Engels again, obviously.
Mhm.
Really sit down with him. Jacob, like the whole Ingebrigtsen family, like I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm right. All of them. I'd love to talk to the brothers. Um, those guys. Oh, Stewie McSwain from
Oh
Australia.
yeah. I love
I'd love to
Stewie
talk to him.
McLean.
He seems really cool. And then
Mhm.
probably somebody from the Very Nice Track Club. Like,
Yeah,
I think his name's like Mason Furlick or
yeah, it's
Ha.
Nate Stolik.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to those guys because they just seem really
Yeah.
interesting.
What's your favorite event to race?
Probably that's hard. I love the 4x4. The 4x4 is track in its rawest form. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen those memes or those videos. It's like, oh, when your coach is looking for you to run the 4x4
Yeah.
because it's always last and it hurts, but
Hmm.
it's always so electric. Like if you get 4x4 teams that are close-ish in speed, and everyone wants to go home and they know it's the last event, so they're all watching. It's like high school track in its rawest form.
Yeah.
So probably that, or I don't know, I'd probably say that. It's so fun, and you get to like be a part of a team. You're not just
Hmm.
solo.
So, what do you think UNC will place at NCAA Cross Nationals next year? Because they placed 10th this year, I'm pretty sure, which
Yeah,
was pretty high.
yeah. It'll be interesting to see where we place next year. Tenth is good, but obviously, you want to break inside that. It's hard to
Yeah.
say. The ACC in of itself is getting really competitive.
Hmm.
Syracuse did well at cross nationals. Wake did well at cross nationals. So UVA is getting
Yeah.
really good. It's hard to say what I think that we're gonna do, but it would be really cool to
Hmm.
best that 10th place finish from this year.
Yeah. Um, who do you think is the best high school runner to ever live?
That's a really good question. I think it's really easy to default to Alan Webb,
Yeah.
um, because he was kind of like one of the first to really
Hmm.
do it, I guess, like really go out and show people what just a high schooler could do. But there was people before him that were good in high school. Like he had a good high school career. That's like, but I wouldn't say he's the best ever. I would I would put Nico Young in that conversation. He had a
Yeah.
really good high school run, especially since he didn't have an outdoor season.
Yeah.
Like his record was like time trial because it was over like quarantine. So
Hmm.
I would definitely put him in the conversation. It would have been interesting to see what he could have done with like a full outdoor season. I mean, and his brothers too are amazing.
Yeah. Would
Like
you put like Colin into the conversation too, Colin Solomon?
absolutely. I think that
Newberry
Newberry
Cook.
Park program, like that 2020 team, it's
Hmm.
just nuts. Like they all deserve and even Aaron's on is killing it. Like
That was crazy at NXN. He came out of nowhere.
yeah, it's hard to say like who I would put at the top of that mountain of high school
Yeah.
running.
So, this is like the final question, I guess. What do you want your PRs to be by the end of your running career?
I just want to see how good I can do
Hmm.
because running is one of those sports that you can run your whole life, but you reach a peak of running.
Yeah.
So I just want to see how high that can be.
Hmm.
Tell me a little
Okay.
about tell me a little bit about your running.
Well, I've always loved, I used to like be really unathletic, but my mom kind of like forced me into running when I was in sixth grade, but I didn't
Hmm.
want to do it and when I was in fifth grade because my brother was doing it and I didn't want to compete with him. But then
Hmm.
I just fell in love with running in sixth grade and I realized the harder I trained, the faster I got. So like over the summer, I like ran like all the time and it really worked because I won my first two cross country meets and that was just crazy experience. And then I ended up having a really good season. And the best part of my year was probably actually when I met you first, like in person at Running Lane, because that was a very fun meet. It got very muddy and it was still really fun. But now I'm just trying to get fit for track season, maybe try dipping under 5 in the mile.
Yeah. So what events are you going to run this season?
Only 16 and 32.
You don't think you're going to do the 8?
I'll maybe race the 8 once, but that's a bit too short for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. But
Hmm.
and in middle school, I never did track. I only did the cross.
Yeah.
What's your mile PR right now?
It's like 5:29, but I've split faster than that in workouts before.
Hmm.
So I've just like in cross country I dropped a minute like state in 2021 to states in 2022.
Oh wow,
So I think I can drop off in the first actual meet by a while.
nice. And what about for the 3200? Do you have any goals there?
Just to like I guess sub 11. I'm gonna mainly be focusing though on the mile this season.
That's good. What kind of workouts do you do?
So you actually know George Blaha. He has a coaching program, and I use his coaching program. So
Really?
yeah, so he'll just send me weekly training plans.
Blaha endurance training, isn't that what it's called?
Yeah.
I went to elementary school with them, with the
Uh.
Blaha. And Matthew Fernando actually went to.
Oh really?
Yeah. So that's interesting. Uh,
Yeah.
do you have like mileage goals or like just minute goals for like running every day and then like workout days?
Well, I'll usually hit like 30 miles a week around there,
That's
and
perfect.
then I don't really know. I had a really hard workout on Tuesday. It was a modified Michigan, and
Oh, really?
I was dead after that. But yeah, do you have a favorite workout you do? Like a go-to workout?
So I told you today I had a workout. It was
Yeah.
probably my least favorite workouts. I hate 800 repeats. They're
Uh,
fun, but they're just not my favorite workout. So I had I had a 6 lap tempo, or not even tempo. It's like just like faster. Um, and then 5 by 8, cutting down 2-ish seconds every 2 to 4, 2 to 4 every rep. But I started a little slow and
yeah.
ended a little fast of like where I wanted or what we wanted to do. And then a
Hmm.
hard 300. And then that's not by any means my favorite workout. We have an 800 workout that we do that's really fun and it's hard. It's like one
Hmm.
of those workouts that you never realize is like as difficult as it is until you go to do your cool down. You're like, shoot, I'm really
Yeah.
struggling. It's like a 5-3-2 workout, and then you can
Uh,
sometimes throw a tempo before it.
mm,
I had one workout one day where I warmed up, did like a couple laps of like strides, like 100 on, 100 off, and then an
mhm.
all out mile, and then like probably like 5 minutes rest, and then like a 15-minute tempo on the track. That was a super fun workout.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a favorite though.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's all. Thanks so much for doing this again. It was a very fun experience.
Wait, I have another question for you. I want
Okay,
to get
yeah.
to know you more as a runner. Do you want to run
Yeah,
in
okay.
college?
Yeah, I do.
Do you do any other sports right now?
Um, no,
Which
I
one?
do spend like a lot of time like just like I'll like play football and stuff in my neighborhood, but not outside of running. I'm not very good at any other sports besides running, I guess to say. but I still enjoy them.
That makes sense. Over the summer, you said you started training more. Did you run alone?
Either I would run with my brother or I would run alone. I did train with the Whitfield boys a couple times, but not much more than,
Like
like,
Andrew, Taylor, and
yeah,
those guys are cool. I like that.
Peyton came out sometimes, but yeah, it was fun. I also started like swimming and biking then because I was training for junior triathlon.
How's that?
It was good. I really like triathlon, but I'll try doing some more this summer, but it's just really painful.
I could never do it.
Mm. But do you have any more questions?
I don't think so. Best of luck to you this spring. You're gonna kill it.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, I enjoyed hopping on this.
Yeah, this was fun.
Definitely.
Thanks for coming on, and I'll probably see you racing soon at a Whitfield with the Whitfield boys. But yeah,
All right. Have a good one.
you too.
Bye.
Bye.